vision is the what, and what we'll be examining now is the how, which is goal setting. And Tony is here with me. So, Tony, could you help us to understand what goal setting is all about?
Yeah, hello. Good to be here again. For us to talk about goal setting, let us first understand what a goal is. So, a goal is essentially the desired outcome or the result of all our efforts and activities. It is something that you commit to achieving. And one important thing about it is that it's always a good thing to align it with your purpose, which is your why. So, your purpose is your why. Your vision is your what, and your goals will now be the how. So the how pretty much is like a GPS that tells you where to turn and where to stop in other way for you to navigate to where you're going to. With this approach, it helps you to build the motivation you need, beating procrastination, and also gives you the tools with which you can measure the progress you're making. So goals can be something like, I want to lose weight, for example. But we'll talk more about how to set it properly, because if you just say, I want to lose weight, you may just not lose the weight because you don't really have specific targets. So your goal is like a target you are aiming at. And so that is how a goal is. And also, it also helps for us to know that there are stages in goal setting. 3 stages, actually. The first stage is what I'll call process goals. These process goals are the specific action steps you wish to take. An example is, I would like to read a book every week. So that is an action step you wish to take, and it is entirely within your control. That is how you know what a process goal is. So I want to read a book a day or a month. I want to run 5 kilometers every day. Those are process goals. So based on that, you can actually now formulate what I'll call a performance goal. A performance goal is, of course, it means performing. That means a goal that tells you are doing whatever you want to do well. Like, I want to pass an exam. So the process towards passing an exam will be reading your books. So you might say, I want to finish 1 chapter every week of whatever text it is you're reading for the exam as a process. Then the performance will now be passing that exam. What you will observe here is that the performance goal is still within your control, but you have much less control than the process goal. And the final one, when you have now done your performance goal, is what I'll call an outcome goal. An outcome goal is usually outside our control. Not completely outside, but you don't have control over it because other people are the ones making the decision. An example is, I want to get married this year. You could be as loving and kind as possible to the person you are with, and he just doesn't want to get married, or she doesn't want to get married. I want to live for a very long time. Of course, you can take all the precautions, live a safe, healthy life, but you don't have control over how long your life is. So those are the kind of steps you take in the kind of stages you can go through when you are looking at goals.
Oh, thank you. If there is a process involved, I'm sure there are tools that we can use to achieve our goals. Are there tools?
Most certainly. There are tools for practically everything we wish to do in life. And one of the things we do on this channel is to try and look at 1 or 2 tools that can help us. In setting goals, I will recommend a few tools, but the one we'll be talking about more is first what I'll call the SWOT analysis. That is, you do an internal assessment and an external assessment. So that means you're looking inside yourself to see what you are strong at, what your strengths are. Your strength, essentially, is something that you do better than other people, or that you know within yourself that you can do very well. And in the same vein, your weaknesses are those areas in which you need to improve. So, if, for example, you find that you have difficulty in, say, studying, for example, what you can do is to try, and maybe you like watching movies. One very nice way of studying is to watch lectures instead of videos, and you'll be able to learn in spite of that weakness you have. So that's how internal assessments work. And for external assessments, you're looking at the opportunities in the environment that can help you with your goals. And in the same vein, you're also looking at things that threaten your ability to achieve those goals and try to take steps to mitigate those threats. Another important tool you can use is to test that your goal is SMART. That's an acronym for your goal being specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. A specific goal is an exact goal. It's not vague. If you say, for example, I would like to be rich, that's a vague goal because there's no clear definition of what it means to be rich. It will be different if you set yourself, I would like to have a personal net worth of $100,000 by 2022, December. Now that is a goal that is exact and you can put a finger on it. Another thing about it is that it should be measurable, like I said, SMART, meaning that you can always check your level of achievement as you go along. For example, your goal is to travel a distance of 100 kilometers in 30 minutes, or let's say 1 hour. You can always know when it's 30 minutes, when the time lapses, and you can always also know the distance you have traveled. And definitely in between, you can tell if you are making the progress as expected. Then it has to be achievable. If you set a goal that you can achieve, chances are that you will abandon it. But here is the deal. I always tell people when they're setting goals, don't set goals that are too easy. Because what it does is that you will not be trying to thrive. You will just be trying to survive. And on this channel, we talk about thriving. So for you to thrive, your goals have to stretch you a little bit. It has to take you out of your comfort zone in such a way that you are required to put in slightly more effort in order to achieve that goal. But I dare say that human beings also set what I'll call WIGs. Those are wildly important goals. Or you can call them BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. Those goals are those kind of goals that go way past your current abilities. And they're often those kind of goals that make us truly thrive. An example of a BHAG was when the President of the United States said they were going to put a man on the moon. And at that point in time, the technology was not even available for flying human beings to such places. So once in a while, you might choose to go for a BHAG, but chances are that if you don't have sufficient commitment, you will abandon it. Another thing about your goal is that it should be relevant. Relevance means it's aligning with your vision. Does that goal contribute to your vision? Imagine you are unhealthy because you are obese. And a doctor tells you the only way for you to become healthy is to lose weight. And you now set a goal to start exercising such that you will lose 1 kilogram every week. Now, that is a relevant goal toward your vision of becoming a healthier person. Then finally, your goals should be time-bound. You must set timelines for whatever goal you are setting. Otherwise, it will be easy for you to abandon it and push it till the next season or the next year or whatever it is. And that is where the procrastinators live. If you want to achieve your goals and get to thrive, you want to put a time limit on whatever goals you set such that you can test yourself while you are doing it. So those are the tools, in addition to many other tools that are available out there. But with these two tools I've given, you are likely to set really good goals for yourself.
Okay, so we have all those tools, but I'm one of those people that believe that people really desire to succeed in life. But then I've watched people struggle to achieve their objectives. Tony, please, could you help us with more tips that will make it easier?
Yeah, certainly. It's not enough to have the tools. You need to also have the soft power to do whatever it is you want to do and a better understanding of where you are headed. So here are some tips that will help us with setting goals. First of all, you don't set too many goals, because goals also mean they require focus and attention. By the time they become too many, you are likely to leave one for the other or do them haphazardly or not even go with the kind of focus required. So one of the approaches you could have is to look at all the aspects of life like finance, career, health, relationships, spirituality, and set a goal in each of those dimensions. And then, work each of the goals. But it all depends also on your capacity. Some people will probably just simply set one goal and try to achieve it at a time, what I'll call monotasking. But it is actually possible to set multiple goals as long as there are not too many for you to handle. Another thing you can do is to write down your goals. In fact, not that you can do, you should do. Writing them down in such a way that you can always get to review them, look at them, is a very important step and to take. It is also useful to have an accountability system. What I mean by accountability is you must be held responsible. And imagine if you promise yourself without an external force holding you to your word. Say, okay, I want to stop taking fizzy drinks. If you didn't say to anybody to hold you accountable, whenever you take any fizzy drink, you always forgive yourself for taking it and you move on. And that way you will not achieve the goal. But if you had like a partner who would call you and say, hey, no, you are trying to buy another fizzy drink, they need to promise that you were not going to take any more fizzy drinks. That accountability system also helps us to work toward our goal. One way of doing it again is to also make a public declaration. If you say it in public that from this day forward, I'm going to be doing this, you have opened the door for people to challenge you when you don't carry out your promise. They can now call you and say, hey, didn't you promise you were not going to do this? So that accountability system works. You also need to track. So when you're setting your goal, put indicators and milestones. Something that would show you that you are making progress toward achieving the goal. And at every stage where you find that you've succeeded, you gain that confidence to move on to achieve the next stage you have set for yourself. Always a good thing to set up that tracking system. And based on your tracking system, you should also do a review of your goals, because there are times Imagine we talked about that person that needs to get to a town 100 kilometers away in 1 hour just because he had to get to a meeting. Let us, at this point, we're not talking about speed limits and all that because I'm not advising that people should now overspeed. But imagine that halfway to the journey, you have not reached half the time you have not reached halfway. What that would tell you is that, I might need to up my speed a little bit or else I will not get to the meeting on time. Well, that illustration is probably not the best in terms of ethical conditions, but I hope you get the point.
Yep.
That intermediate target gets you to focus on how to get to the end. Then always do this. If, on the other hand, you have halfway through, you have passed the halfway point, have a way of celebrating, and that celebration doesn't have to be throwing a party. Just like telling yourself, "Yeah, that's it, boy, you're doing it." That kind of a thing. It gives you that momentum to keep on going. So with those steps, it becomes a lot easier to achieve your goals.
Wow, 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 wow. I've had an amazing time here today. You know what? I'm going to have to watch again. So I enjoyed everyone here to watch and rewatch. I tell you, I don't have to wait till next year to start setting my goals, and you should do the same. Start setting your goals right now. Please check out our other videos. Don't just watch them. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and keep thriving. Bye-bye.